Hey guys, what's up? In this video, we're gonna drive around the city of Yekaterinburg. And remember, I made that video about me driving around the city in minus 20 Celsius, minus 4 in Fahrenheit. Well, today's nice weather. It's plus 30 Celsius or 86 Fahrenheit. This is not very typical for my city. It's considered hot. I know it wouldn't be considered hot in Texas, but for my city it's pretty hot. So let's see how people are dressed and how life changes when it's nice warm weather outside. So we're taking this airport road to the city. There's a nice lake on the right. We're now entering the city. This street is called Maschine, as machinery. You still see some Ladas, and you see some nice Mercedes. All sorts of cars. You know, in Moscow you don't see Ladas anymore. This guy riding a bike. It's just a working day. It was yesterday. It was what was it? Monday. This is Malyshevo Street. In the city you have two streets that go along the city. It's Lenina Street, of course, always the main street, and Malyshevo Street. Malyshev was another revolutionary figure. No surprise. So people are having a good time, walking around, enjoying the nice weather, which we don't get too much in Russia. Every sunny, warm day is a great day. When it comes to public transportation, we still got trams. We also have a subway, but it's just one line. The city doesn't have enough money to build another one, and we don't get federal funding for some reason, even though we pay a bunch of taxes. You know, in Russia we got regions that depend on the federal money and regions that actually pay a lot more taxes than they get back, so we're like a donor. And you know, traffic gets congested just a little bit. This beautiful building is the city council. Oh, did you see that American car? What model was that? Do you guys know? Let me know in the comments. This is probably the very heart of the city. It's the intersection of Lenina and 8th of March Street. Lots of cars, lots of people. And we see that car again. I love when people buy something that makes them stand out. You know, Russians have been conditioned for many, many years to be just like everybody else. You know, the Soviet era, 70 years of communism makes you want to be part of the crowd, just like everybody else. Because if you're behind, you get punished. You're way ahead, you get punished for that too. That's the biggest problem in the Russian mentality right now, because when people get elected in the office, they're thinking not about changing things for the better. They're thinking about, how can I keep this position and not be punished for something that I do? So they hardly ever propose any new ideas, because they always think about, I don't want to get punished for this. I want to keep my job. Okay, we're back on Malyshevo Street. You see lots of people, even though it's working time right now. I guess not everybody's working, or maybe they're on a lunch break. This skyscraper you see up ahead, it's called Vysotsky, after this guitar singer in the Soviet Union, Vladimir Vysotsky. As I said, it's pretty hot outside by Russian standards. It's plus 30. At least this is what my car says. Right now we're on our way to the Ural State University. Remember that ladder that was drifting in the previous video? Well, we're going to that place. We'll see if anybody's drifting today. You see an electric bus, trolley bus we call it. It's using this power line to keep moving. But it's not very flexible. If a couple of cars breaks down in front of them, they get stuck. In the distance, you see the Ural State Federal University. And we continue driving. On the left, you see people planting flowers for the summer season. It's going to look good. They're watering the flowers already. It's a good effort. Nobody's drifting today. In Russia, we only have maybe 3 or 4 universities that you would find in top 200 universities of the world. See, this guy's wearing shorts, which means it's pretty warm. These old buildings, this is called Coliseum. It's I don't know what it's used for now. I know there's a restaurant in there. It used to be a movie theater. Maybe it's still a movie theater. I used to go there to play pool when I was younger. Church on the Blood, as you may know, as you may recognize the building. This is the exact place where the Tsar family was killed. There was a building that was called Ipatiev House. Just a house that belonged to an engineer. And when the Bolsheviks brought the Tsar and his family, they put them in the basement. They lived in the house for like a week, and then they put them in the basement. And I think it was Lenin who said, "Let's get rid of the Tsar," because the White Army was coming from the east. And at that time, you know, the Tsar was like God. So if you had Tsar with you, it's like the God is with you, so everybody would follow, because the White Army was coming to Yekaterinburg, and if they could free the Tsar, you know, they could get a bunch of people on their side, that's for sure. While I was on my vacation in Georgia, they had, you know, we have 2 oligarchs here in the city with a net worth of like $5 billion each, and they wanted to build this church, and that would be okay with everybody, but they wanted to build this church in the park, that in the center, that everybody loves, and they couldn't care less about what people thought. You know, they did all these bureaucratic manipulations with the papers, and like the city sold them the land, and then they put a fence to start the construction, and people were pissed, people were furious, and so they started protecting the city like never before. And this was unheard of. This was like something that hasn't happened in Russia for many years, because they get thrown in jail a lot, so people do not want to protest over, you know, trivial things. But this was not a trivial thing. People wanted to keep the park, and so first night I think there was 2,000 people that came to the park to save it from the construction, and the next night we had 5,000 people, and then it got all over the internet, and people started coming even from other cities, for which I want to thank them. And we ended up saving the park. You see how this taxi driver just cut in front of me? How much money do you think these taxi drivers are making? Well, not a lot. I was taking a cab, and I was talking to this taxi driver, and he said that if he starts working early in the morning and he finishes late at night, he can make 2,500 rubles. That's like $45, so that's not a lot, not very impressive. So in a month, all he makes is like 50,000 rubles. That's less. That's about $800 a month. You know, it's pretty bad. But it gets worse. You know, when people are talking about how Russia's a rich country, well, it's rich in minerals, it's rich in natural resources, but people are not rich. The majority are just barely surviving. In that same conversation with that taxi driver, he said he was from Bashkortostan, he came to Yekaterinburg, and he brought his nephew now came to Yekaterinburg. He got a job working as a mechanic, and he's working for a state company, and he only gets paid 22,000 rubles a month. That is $300-something a month, and he rents an apartment for $150. So all he's left with like $150 to play around with for a whole month. You know, if this is not poverty for you, I don't know what is. To me, this is barely surviving. You know, how you gonna buy groceries with 150 bucks a month? This building to the right, it's called Dom Cantor, which literally means house of offices. It's funny how in Soviet Union, all the names, the signs, everything had to be so serious. A house of offices. This means that people come here to work. Got some beautiful girls crossing the road. This is what you came for, right? Well, we did a little bit of driving. I got tired and I'm hungry, so let's go to KFC. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks a bunch for watching.